Well, the fire that has been raging overnight near Muizenberg in the Cape Peninsula has spread to Hout Bay and Chapman's Peak. One firefighter was injured in the blaze as firefighters battled the flames on several fronts. Several houses have burnt down and a retirement home had to be evacuated. Dozens of firefighters have been working overnight to try and bring the blaze under control, but efforts are being hampered by a strong southeasterly which has been fanning the blaze. Vast amounts of vegetation has been destroyed. Fire authorities have also had to evacuate people in various places, and at least 45 vehicles were deployed with the help of air support. A flyover will also be conducted this afternoon to determine the extent of the damage. Traffic has been severely affected as several roads along the mountain pass have been closed. Earlier, disaster management personnel said firefighters were concentrating their efforts to protect property on the urban trench as the fire started moving in the direction of Hout Bay. Well, this is how Muizenberg residents described the situation earlier this morning.
The whole mountain was just ablaze. It looked very pretty, but very sad to see. It was a long line right across this whole ridge. The southeaster was howling and luckily keeping it high up. So the firefighters couldn't do anything except stand and wait for it to come lower down, which it didn't do. It spread more towards the West Lake, Steenberg area.
We were safe. We took precautions earlier on in the evening. And also the lives of these firefighters, and what about the animals? What about the snakes? What about the tortoises? And all the people that had to be evacuated?
Well, I'm now joined on the line by our reporter Nomawethu Sowandle. She's in Muizenberg. Nomawethu, the fire has now spread to Hout Bay. What's the latest?
Well, the situation is still very tense down here as the fire continues to rage across the mountain. We've seen several firefighters working around the clock to try and contain the blaze. But you know, like the problem here is that as the firefighters try to contain one section, it crosses over to the other side because the southeasterly wind just continues to fan this blaze. We understand that there are more than 300 firefighters that have been deployed here, over 28 fighting vehicles with the support of about 16, and it's just not enough because this wind is just too strong at this stage. We understand that authorities have now called on for help in the Free State and the Eastern Cape, and about 20 teams will be coming to the Western Cape to try and help to contain this blaze. You know, like a blaze such as this one can take, these people can work right through the night and, I mean, several days in order to contain this blaze. Like I said, they've been working around the clock from yesterday to try and contain the fire. I heard on the line, we spoke to some people in the morning, and people are really, really scared at this point in time because the fire is really getting close to property. A number of people have been evacuated at this stage, and now they're being accommodated in certain community halls and churches. And I must say that people have come together in this community. You know, several shops have been supplying water and some food to the firefighters that are here working around the clock to try and contain this blaze.
And Nomawethu, as you say, they contain one area and then it just starts to spread. So we're hearing that this could take at least another day or two to bring under control.
Certainly, that is true. Like, I've been sitting here on Boyd's Drive, and you see one section is contained, and then another section just spreads to another section. Like I said, it started here on Boyd's Drive, but now we understand that it has moved over to Hout Bay. Hout Bay is now the critical point, and people there have been told that they need to take the necessary precautions. People have been told to water their roofs if they have thatch roofs. They've been warned to water their gardens as well, just to make sure that that it can be avoided, that no more damage to property. At this point, we understand that there are about 5 houses that have been damaged, and of course, several people have been evacuated, and old age home has been evacuated because people are just scared that there may be loss of life at this stage. But certainly the fire is spreading to other areas.
All right, Nomawethu Sowandle, thank you very much. Nomawethu reporting there live from Muizenberg. Well, lots of images and Twitter response coming through via social media. So let's just take a look at some of the response that we've had from there. Tweets coming through saying the small animals are probably frightened by the fire, some running and probably helpless. I hope everyone that I love, family and friends, are safe in Cape Town in the midst of the fire, praying for you all. Another tweet from Lucille saying, I woke up to Cape Town on fire, praying for the safety of the residents being evacuated and all the firefighters. And just a tweet from Love Cape Town saying, major fires currently in the South Peninsula areas of Cape Town. We cannot thank our fire department enough for all of their hard work. Well, the South African Weather Service has forecast extremely high temperatures with warnings of high risk for veld fires for the Western Cape. And I'm joined now in studio by our SABC weather forecaster, Muizenberg. Muizenberg, thanks for joining us. These current weather conditions, they must surely be affecting the spread of the fires quite severely. We've seen soaring temperatures. Tomorrow it's supposed to be about 40 degrees in Cape Town, and there's that southwesterly.
Okay, thanks for having me. The first thing that people need to know is the climate of the country. As you can see on my background here, you can see clear conditions in the western parts of South Africa and wet conditions towards the eastern parts of the country. In climatology, this is due to the fact that in the western parts of the country, we usually receive our rainfall in winter, while in the eastern parts we get rainfall right now, like here in Johannesburg. So the basic thing is to know the climatology of the country. As you can see on my latest satellite images here, clear conditions in the western parts of the country. Hence, those clear conditions are bringing the temperatures to high levels, which is also aiding in the development and spread of wildfires. But the most basic thing for today are the systems that you can see here. A low pressure system just towards the west coast of the Western Cape, as well as the high pressure system along the south coast of the country. And between these two pressure systems, there is this thing that we call a pressure gradient force, which means it's a force that is between these two this low pressure and the high pressure system. So between those two pressures, it forces the wind to be stronger over these areas here. So because of dry, clear and hot conditions, plus windy conditions, it results to the development and spread of wildfires in the western parts of South Africa.
All right, Mduzi, thank you very much. That's Mduzi our SABC weather forecaster, just updating us on the weather conditions in the Western Cape with regards to those fires.